All right, music fans, welcome. Harmless Dave here on the Harmless Dave channel. Talking harmless things, talking about real, organic, authentic music that I went to see last night. Doing what I do in real time for a few people that might be interested in this stuff, just like you there. And just like me. No, I'm not talking about drama or controversy in the music business. Got a cool shirt, though. Check this out, huh? Yeah, Ray Fuller last night at the world famous Buckingham Blues Bar. And why do I make a big deal about this? Because you could get in for 20 bucks. You can buy this nice shirt that they were selling for 20 bucks. You can buy a CD for 20 bucks or two for 30 if you buy two of them. Um, all of this, and by the way, the lady who was there at the merch table, which was basically on top of a pool table. I loved it. The merch table was the pool table. She's like, you've got to get this one. I love the fact that she recommended something to me and I walked out with it. And I was listening to it on the way home and I'm just like, yeah, baby. This is from Buddy Guy's Legends Club. All right. So we're dealing with someone who goes around, has a van, loads the van up, puts all the musical instruments in there. The band, I'm assuming, travels by van. I think they're going to a place called Sebastian today, which is in Florida. It's somewhere more on the other coast, and I think more north from what she told me. I'm like, where are you going? And she's documenting. These guys come down from Ohio, right? So, how many people know this band? Like two people in this audience. I had someone say, yeah, I used to play drums for Ray a long time ago. So, there are a few people that cross over because I cover a lot of different things on this channel. But what I really want to talk about is this gap between authentic, great musicianship and this sort of plastic, image driven, you got to go see this band before it's too late, even though they don't sound like they used to, even though they're using AI. Yeah, no AI last night. Ray's slide playing, I was watching just in amazement. Just a great slide guitar player. He covered Boom Boom by John Lee Hooker, I believe was the original, right? I don't know, maybe. Big song within the blues world. And he just kicks some serious butt on that track. But pretty much everything. He did this song called Rock and Roll Cowboy, which I really enjoyed. So this wasn't just a slow, methodic blues kind of thing. This was rock and roll infused with blues, which the music industry, not a full embrace of that, but I always go back to the 80s and into the early 90s where there was kind of a blues revival thing happening where they were playing the music on rock stations, like guys like Johnny Winter, Robert Cray, obviously Eric Clapton in there, but Gary Moore. There were a bunch, Jeff Healey. There were a bunch of people who were really making inroads into rock and bringing rock back to its roots. And all of a sudden, you get this big left hand turn, 1991, 1992, and all that stuff kind of dries up, other than maybe Kenny Wayne Shepherd shows up on the scene and he was too good for people to ignore. But then, yeah, we'll give you a little bit of radio airplay, but then, and then of course you have Joe Bonamassa out there who's built his own following without really any radio support whatsoever. And there are a number of blues artists who have done this without a lot of help. But last night, listening to this somewhat unheralded blues guy who had, back in the day, spent some time with John Lee Hooker. That's probably why he's doing John Lee songs, and he mentions John Lee when he's up on stage. He kind of looks like a cowboy, plays some old school blues, and is very humble. You clap and he's like, thank you very much. He's kind of like Elvis up there. Thank you very much. Very polite, very unassuming. Got his autograph on this. And that's another thing I tell people about access, right? You go to a small show like this, You want to hang out with a band, you just hang out with a band. You don't need a VIP pass. The band is right there. They're going to be walking around the establishment the entire night. They're going to be loading their gear into the van or unloading it, depending on when you get there. And that may seem like a small and ridiculous thing to me, but I'm not really starstruck by famous people anymore. I used to be. And it depends on who it is. I mean, if I'm talking to Eric Clapton, it's a little daunting. I will say that. It's like, this is Eric Clapton, but after a while, you're like, yeah, they do the same things we do, pretty much. I mean, they may have different lives when it comes to the cars they drive and the things they wear and so forth. But for the most part, hate to quote Depeche Mode here, but people are people, you know? Um, and you just have to look at it that way. You can't look at it as, oh, they're better than me and they're more important than me and I can't get access to that person. It's on them. If they don't want to be accessible, it's on them. And I understand people need their privacy, especially if there are weird stalker like people. And there are. But the great thing about listening to Ray Fuller and the Blues Rockers last night was it was just authentic music delivered with energy and professionalism, and everybody was a great musician. I love the drummer. I didn't talk much about the drummer. The drummer was fantastic last night. The harmonica player was kind of stealing the show here and there. And then you'd watch Ray play the slide, and you're like, that's some really good technique. You can hear it. You know it when you hear it. Very unassuming and very, very unheralded. And I wish more people would show up for events like this. And where I live, I mean, there is a blues underground scene here in the state of Florida. It's vibrant, but it's not like everything is selling out and people are talking about it for days and days. It's more like word of mouth, people who like this kind of music, people who like this kind of environment. I guess there was a lot of college football going on last night, so people were telling me that was interfering with the turnout to some degree, and that may be true. I don't know because I don't really follow college football. But if I did, I would have known, hey, tonight's not a good night for this. But maybe a daytime festival. I was telling them, get here in the daytime. Maybe they will book you again and you can go out there and more people will get to hear some great music. Again, Ray Fuller and the Blues Rockers, highly recommended. It was a great show. I just love hearing people who can play their stuff. And these guys, this is what they do. They go out and they play live music. And you could tell they could just fire this thing up in their sleep. I think they had some technical issues at one point with the harmonica player's amp. They just plugged into something else and kept going. Like there was, see, another band, this big stadium thing, they would have stopped the show and had an intermission and then figured out what was going on. And maybe they would have even sent people home. These guys were like, no, we'll just keep going because this is what we do. And it's just a different experience. It's a different music experience. It's down to earth. It puts you at their level, and that's what I love about it. So anyway, if this video made no sense to you, I completely get it. If you understand where I'm coming from at this stage of my life and what I tend to gravitate towards, then you should maybe subscribe here. Think about supporting the channel, buy me a coffee, Patreon, YouTube memberships, and PJ Rock Super Chats. I did upload a song to my channel from the show, and I was a little shaky at the beginning because I don't sit there on my phone recording stuff usually. I like to just watch it. I don't want to watch it through a lens. I just want to watch it. And so, yeah, that was kind of a first for me, and it came out pretty good, I think. I mean, the band, they sound great. So even if I screw up, it's still going to be all right. So thanks again. God bless everyone. And I will be back with more exciting content here. It'll be back to the drama and the gossip and the stuff that people actually want to watch.